You've probably heard him called the greatest romantic hero in all of literature. But what if he's not a hero at all? What if he's actually a monster? Today, we're going to tear down that myth of Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights to get to a reality that's a whole lot darker and way more complex.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Is Heathcliff this tortured, brooding romantic figure, or is he just a flat-out monster? To figure that out, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, to the moment he was created, not as a person, but as a problem.
All right, so let's start with his origins. We've got to forget the romance for a second and really zero in on the traumatic childhood that forged this character. Okay, so picture this. It's 1771. Mr. Earnshaw comes home with a strange, dark-skinned child he found in Liverpool, and he calls him a gift of God. But to the rest of the family, this gift is a curse. The kid doesn't speak their language, he has no history, no name, so they name him Heathcliff, which was the name of their son who had died. Think about that. From day one, he's a living gravestone. He's not a person, he's a replacement.
And you know, the dehumanization, it starts instantly. The very first thing they call him is it.
Then it gets worse. The slurs begin, pinning all of society's fears right onto this one little boy. He becomes the gypsy brat.
And finally, they hit him with the ultimate label, cementing his status as this unwanted, demonic thing, an imp of Satan. This isn't just kids being mean, it's a systematic stripping away of his humanity.
So you see, the thing to understand here is that Heathcliff was never just a boy to them. He was a placeholder for everything that terrified 19th century society. Foreignness, poverty, illegitimacy, even the unspoken horrors of the slave trade and colonial expansion. He was a walking, talking symbol of all their deepest anxieties. All of that cruelty, well, it sets the stage for a revenge plot so vast it's going to consume 2 entire generations. Let's look at the exact moment that lit the fuse. Okay, this right here, this is the moment everything shatters. After years of this wild, inseparable bond, Catherine Earnshaw, his only friend, his only ally in the world, says this. And Heathcliff overhears the first part, the ultimate betrayal, and he bolts. He never stays to hear her confess that she feels their souls are one and the same. That single, tragic misunderstanding, it fuels every bit of destruction that comes next. So he just disappears for 3 whole years, and when he comes back in 1784, he is a completely different man. The wild boy is gone. In his place is this wealthy, refined, and ice-cold gentleman. Where did he get all this money? The military? The slave trade? The novel never tells us, and that mystery is a huge part of his power. And he's got a plan, a meticulous, brutal plan that will play out over the next 18 years. And this is where you see just how cold and systematic his revenge is. This isn't some hot-headed crime of passion. It's a long, drawn-out siege. He patiently destroys Hindley, the man who tormented him as a child. He marries and brutalizes Isabella Linton, not because he hates her, but just to inflict pain on her brother, Edgar. And then he turns that same calculated cruelty onto the next generation, imprisoning Catherine's daughter and twisting Hindley's own son, Hareton, into the uneducated brute that Hindley always accused Heathcliff of being. But wait, you're probably thinking, what about the great love story? Well, this is where the whole romantic myth just completely falls apart. Heathcliff's obsession with Catherine isn't romance. It's something way more terrifying. The best way to think about their relationship is this idea of ontological fusion. It sounds complicated, right? But it's not really. It isn't about 2 people loving each other. It's about 2 beings demanding to become a single entity, to erase any and all boundaries between them. It's a love built on absolute possession, not partnership. And if you don't believe me, listen to Heathcliff's own words. When Catherine dies, he doesn't just mourn. He runs outside, smashes his head against a tree until he's bleeding, and screams this at her ghost. He doesn't want her to rest in peace. He wants her to haunt him, to possess him, to drive him insane. Anything, as long as it means they're not separate. That's not love. That is a desperate, terrifying desire for eternal torment. All right, time to lay down the final verdict and get rid of any lingering ideas about him being some kind of hero. You know, a lot of people throw around the term Byronic hero for Heathcliff, but that's just a complete misreading. A Byronic hero is moody and rebellious, sure, but he's also glamorous. Heathcliff is what you get when you take that archetype and you starve it, beat it, and spit racial slurs at it for years. All that glamour curdles and turns demonic. And that, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all, the one readers have been fighting over for more than a century. After everything he went through and everything he did, is there any chance for redemption? And the novel's answer is brutally clear. No. There is no redemption arc for Heathcliff. His reign of terror doesn't end because goodness triumphs over evil. It ends because his own will to live, his own energy for destruction, just burns itself out. The demon simply gets bored and fades away.
Okay, so if he's not a hero and he's totally irredeemable, why are we still so obsessed with him almost 200 years later? Why is he still so terrifying?
It's because the book does something most revenge stories don't. It denies us that satisfying payoff. Heathcliff himself admits that once he has everything he ever wanted, he can't even be bothered to destroy it. His revenge doesn't bring him peace or closure. It just extends his own grief, his own misery, forever.
At the end of the day, Heathcliff is terrifying because he's a mirror. He reflects back the darkest parts of our world. He's that dark fantasy of the outcast kid who comes back with unlimited power. He's the perfect, tragic example of the abused becoming the abuser. And more than anything, he's the ultimate proof that the cycle of cruelty is just a void. It leads absolutely nowhere. So what's the big takeaway here? Forget the tortured romantic hero. Heathcliff is something so much bigger and so much more important than that. He is the human embodiment of a wound of class, of race, of systemic cruelty that society inflicts on someone and then has the nerve to act shocked when it creates a monster. And that is a truth far more haunting than any ghost you'll find on the moors.